So Shamin, you tell me that you have a work meeting that you have to give a presentation at coming up this week.
Yeah,
And how are you feeling about that?
a little nervous. I think this is what makes me most nervous of all. So, um, I worry. I worry that I'm gonna not be able to stay focused, and stumble over my words, and that people are gonna think that I'm not prepared or smart enough to do the job.
Okay. And you've already made a lot of progress in your homework experiments in a social setting,
Right.
but this is a very different setting now. This is speaking at a staff meeting, and so it makes you more scared, you're saying.
Yeah, I mean, there's more at stake, I think, because it's my job and I see these people every day. Um, so yeah, it makes me more nervous.
Okay. And so when you think about speaking at a staff meeting, tell me specifically, what are your fears? What are your feared predictions of how you will, or at least might, come across?
I'm afraid that I'm gonna come off as not sure or confident, um, because my voice is shaky and because I'm stumbling over my words, or I might lose my um, thoughts. I might lose track of my thoughts. Um, I'm worried that I'm gonna sweat. That'll be really embarrassing.
Okay.
Um, and I'm worried that I'll be shaking because I can't really hide my hands. I usually hide them or grab them or have my arms folded. But if I'm standing up in front of everybody and um, I have to do the PowerPoint and I have to stand there, then I can't really hide my hands as well.
And if all these fears, or even some of these fears, come true, what's your overarching concern about how others might react?
I think I worry that people are gonna judge me, that they're gonna not want me to do other projects, or I might get left out of stuff, or I mean, worst case scenario, I might lose my job because they don't think that I can do it, or that they'll think that I'm stupid, or that they won't want to work with me.
Okay. It sounds really hard.
It's really hard.
So let me go through your feared predictions, and I'm going to ask you, if you were doing an experiment here, in giving you the presentation you need to give at work next week, and you're doing it here, and how shaky do you imagine your voice would be 0 to 100?
Um, Probably like a 90.
Okay. And how much do you think you would stumble over your words, 0 to 100?
Probably a 90.
And lose track of your thoughts, what you were saying?
Um, I always find the PowerPoints to help, but probably like a 85.
How about sweating? How badly might you sweat?
I'm gonna sweat. I know I'm gonna sweat. That's gonna be an 85 too. I'll probably wear black so they can't see it.
Okay, that's another safety seeking behavior. And finally, hands shaking, 0 to 100, how bad would that be?
I feel like that's a 92, not 92, a 90 also.
Okay, okay. And you're concerned that all of these things will lead to you to be judged negatively by others as stupid, as not confident, as people that they don't want to work with, that you might even lose your job or at least not be included in future projects because of this.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, my suggestion is that we do an experiment in which you practice giving your work presentation or a part of it, and that we this time record it by video now, and then that we watch the video together afterwards, because the video provides evidence of how you actually came across. And we could see to what extent do your fears about how you will come across pan out, or do you come across any differently than you think? How do you feel about doing that experiment?
Okay, I can do that.
Okay, so let's set that up now. I'll turn on the video and you could begin your presentation.
Okay.
To the viewers, um, we would then have the client give a presentation while the video is being recorded, whether using Zoom for telehealth sessions or having a video camera or phone set up to record her speaking during in-person sessions. Well, congratulations, Shaman. That was really an interesting presentation. I learned a lot. Thank you.
Thanks.
So let me ask you, how did it feel for you?
Um, Scary, not as scary as it normally feels because everybody wasn't there at work, but still scary.
Yeah.
Um, but I got through it.
Okay, congratulations. Let me ask you about the specific concerns that you had. So before we watched the video, how much do you think your voice was shaking during the course of this presentation, 0 to 100?
Maybe an 80.
Okay. And how much do you feel you were stumbling over your words?
Same, around an 80.
Okay. How much did you lose track of your thoughts?
I know I did once or twice. I don't know, maybe 75, 80.
Okay. And how badly were you sweating?
I wasn't sweating as much as I thought. 70.
Okay. And lastly, how badly were your hands shaking?
I felt like my hands were shaking a lot. I'm gonna say 80.
Okay. So let's watch the video together. How do you feel about doing that?
Okay.
Watching videos of ourselves, it can be really scary. And I want to make a suggestion. Remember the concept of mindfulness, which means focusing with interest, with curiosity on what you see and hear, in this case, see and hear in the video, and diffusing from whatever thoughts and feelings that you're having in your mind and in your body. So in other words, when we watch this video together, pay close and curious attention, take interest in all that you see and all that you hear in the video. And to the extent that you're having any unpleasant thoughts or feelings while you're watching the video, just treat that like background noise.
Okay.
And return your attention to taking interest in what you see and hear in the video. Some people find it helpful to approach it like you're watching the video of a stranger rather than a video of yourself so that you can see it more objectively.
Okay.
Okay, so let's watch the video together. To the viewer, sometimes it's useful to watch the video more than once, because if after the first time the client says that they were still really focused on their negative thoughts and feelings, I would suggest watching it a second time in which they treat those thoughts and feelings as background noise while re-attending to what they see and hear in the video itself and taking interest in that rather than in their negative thoughts and feelings. Well, Shaman, having watched the video, let me ask you for your ratings again. In the video itself, how shaky, 0 to 100, would you say your voice was?
It wasn't as bad as I thought it was. Maybe a 40.
Okay, wow. And how badly did you stumble over your words in the video?
I mean, there were some moments where I stumbled, but it didn't take away from what I was saying, I don't think. I was still able to get my point across, so maybe a 45.
Okay. And in the video, how badly did you seem to lose your train of thought?
that did happen a couple of times, but I also was able to recover, I think, pretty well. And I don't think anybody would have noticed it. I noticed it because I knew it happened, but I don't think anybody else would notice it. So maybe a 40.
Okay. And how badly did you appear to be sweating in the video?
You couldn't tell I was sweating, I don't think. Um, there was no like visible sign of me sweating. So I would say that was like a 10.
Okay. And lastly, in the video, how badly did your hands shake?
Um, I I could feel them shaking, but I couldn't see them shaking as much. I know they were shaking though. So I'm gonna say that was maybe a 50.
Okay, now this is really interesting. I've been writing all this down. Before doing the experiment, you predicted that your voice would shake at 90, and right after the experiment, but before watching the video, you thought it was shaking at 80. But when you watched the evidence within the video itself, it was only shaking at 40, less than half of your prediction.
Yeah.
And stumbling over your words, your initial prediction was 90, but watching yourself in the video, your score was only 45. Losing track of your thoughts, you predicted you would do that at 85, but watching the video was only 40. Sweating, you predicted would be 85, but you can only observe that at 10. That was a dramatic decrease. And handshaking, you predicted it at 80, and that went down to 50. So all your scores went down a lot, some of them very dramatically, but all a lot in watching yourself on the video. What do you make of that? What do you think we can learn from that?
I think that I believe that it's worse than it actually is. Um, that, what I'm feeling is happening is not as obvious to others. You can't actually see some of this stuff in the same way that I can feel it. And that even if I make a mistake, that I'm able to pick myself up in the moment and get right back on track. So that's not noticeable as much as I thought either.
Wow, this was an important experiment. There was a lot that we learned from it. How we come across is much better than how we think we come across when we're anxious.
Yeah.
That's an important lesson to remind yourself of when you have anticipatory anxiety about giving this presentation this week or any other social anxiety experiment.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
A few notes to the viewer. Some clients, in watching the video together in session, will continue feeling that they came across badly. And so it will often be necessary to re-watch those portions of the video again where they think they came across badly, and to discuss each portion with them, because often they're seeing the video through the eyes of their hot thoughts rather than what they actually are seeing and hearing on the video itself. And watching it together with the client again will often help them see it more objectively. Another possibility that you can do, if there's another staff member around, or if you're doing this within group and within a social anxiety group and you have other clients around, is you can ask people to watch the video on their own and to rate on paper how they feel the client came across. And then after the client watches the video together with you, you could then show them the ratings of the other persons and see how other people also are seeing the client come across much better than the client had seen themselves.